If I could please have your attention, please. Apologize, I had to get some readers for this. Welcome to our November 14th City Council meeting. In the interest of time efficiency and ensuring that everyone who wishes to address the council is given the opportunity to do so, the following will apply to all comments made by the public. If you desire to be recognized by the chair, please fill out a request form and present it to the city clerk present in the council chambers. Each speaker shall be allotted 3 minutes to address the council, unless such time is extended by the mayor or by questions from council. Group shall designate a spokesperson to avoid repetition of comments. Every effort will be made to avoid interrupting speakers. Thank you for your participating in your local government or your city government. Please silence all electronic devices. And we call this meeting to order. And I'd like to introduce, if everybody, for the invocation, we have Pastor Leonard Thompson from Heart Cry Chapel.
Mayor and council members, thank you for this privilege to pray for you in the city tonight. Please join me in prayer. Lord God, thank you for this time and this place you have provided for this city. Thank you for this council, the staff, the police, the fire and fire personnel, and especially for all city employees who work in so many areas of the city. I pray for their protection. I pray for their provision and for their families. Lord, I pray that this council will conduct its business in an upright manner, with total integrity, with wisdom and understanding. I pray that they govern with respect for and in the interest of all citizens of this community, and that they will see and know your hand in the matters that come before them. Father God, thank you for the many blessings you pour out in this city and in the lives of its citizens. And I pray that we never take them for granted, but that we acknowledge you as our supreme protector and provider. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Leonard. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please be seated. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Robertson,
Here.
Councilmember Paul,
Here.
Councilmember Urban,
Here.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Here.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Here. All right, City Manager Miller, do you have any agenda updates?
Yes, thank you. I would like to pull item A on the consent agenda, resolution 2024-097R off of the agenda. That is all.
Okay. All right, and sorry, folks, this is my first time doing this. Run through the, and now I'd like to. We have presentations here. We have a presentation of the Employee of the Month by Chief Gerke.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed council members. It's an honor to stand before you this evening to recognize one of our exceptional law enforcement officers who have gone above and beyond in their duties at the St. Cloud Police Department. At this time, I would like to call up Officer Milton Bronson. I'm not going to let you stand in the back of the room there. You're going to stand next to me here. Officer Bronson, whose dedication and initiative have not only set a high standard for others to follow, but have made a significant impact on the safety and the well-being of our community. Due to his outstanding work, he was selected to serve in a rotational capacity with our street crimes unit that oversees our narcotics activity and our burglary and our property investigations. During that time and in the months thereafter, Officer Bronson initiated several narcotics investigations with remarkable results. Through his tireless work, 9 search warrants were executed throughout the city seizing various quantities of fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, with 21 suspects being charged. These actions have undoubtedly reduced the presence of illegal narcotics in our community and have made our streets safer for everyone. Additionally, Officer Bronson has taken a leadership role in conducting routine sex offender checks throughout the city, a task that is vital to maintaining public safety. By taking on this responsibility, Officer Bronson effectively freed detectives to focus on other pressing investigations, thus allowing our department to operate more efficiently. This level of commitment to his duties, combined with his willingness to go above and beyond, exemplifies the very best of what it means to be a law enforcement officer serving his community. Officer Bronson's initiative, hard work, and dedication not only contribute to the success of our department, but also made a real difference in the lives of those in our community. On behalf of the City of St. Cloud, the St. Cloud Police Department, and everyone here, I want to thank you for your outstanding service and congratulate you on being named Employee of the Month. Your actions are an inspiration to us all, and we are grateful to have you as part of our team. Thank you again and congratulations. Yeah, we got. So we have. Oh, we got to get the mayor in here with us too. Let's get you that and this. Is this good here? Congratulations again.
All right, and next we have a presentation of the new organizational values by Justin Klusner. Did I get it right?
Good evening, Justin Kleesner,
Kleesner.
Human Resources Director. It's all right, everyone gets it wrong, so I'm used to it. Again, my name is Justin. I'm the Director of Human Resources. As part of our recent 5-year strategic planning effort, the final step of that planning process was creating our organizational values. And this time, a group of our employees from across the organization got together, worked with our consultant to identify and define those. And members of those that employee group is here with us today to tell you all about it. So I'll turn it over to them.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for our opportunity to speak tonight. I'm Kelly Bravant, Senior Executive Administrative Assistant to the City Manager's Office, and we're here on behalf of our teammates to present the new organizational values created by employees from across the city. These values reflect what we believe is an organization, and will help guide how we work and serve our community. Organizational values are the core principles that tell the story of who we are. They guide our actions and decisions at the City of St. Cloud, shaping of how we work, interact, and serve. They are like a moral compass, defining behaviors to create a positive work environment where everyone knows what is expected and feels connected to a shared purpose. These values apply to all employees, including leadership, and help ensure we operate with integrity and consistency. By embracing our core values, we can build a stronger, more cohesive workplace aligned with our mission.
Good evening. I'm Sharika Robinson, the Business Navigator in the City Manager's Office. Our new values were developed through a series of workshops over the summer as part of a process facilitated by the strategic planning consultant. A team of 30 employees from every city department worked together to craft 4 core values. Each value comes with a definition and the specific behaviors that we aim to demonstrate daily, and we are excited to share them with you today. The first value is accountability. This means we hold ourselves responsible for our actions and their outcomes. We commit to being transparent in our communication and motivated to improve. The behaviors that support accountability include taking responsibility for our actions, setting clear expectations, and meeting deadlines. We also take ownership of our work and offer solutions when challenges arise. Our second value is empowerment. We believe in recognizing, encouraging, and supporting each other to make decisions. This value is about trusting that everyone is doing their best and working hard to get the job done. We share decision-making, trust each other, and value constructive feedback. We also invest in professional and personal development, helping each other grow and succeed.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Streeter. I'm an associate planner with community development. Our next value is innovation. We strive to learn both from our successes and our mistakes. We are open to change and new ideas, and we adapt to new information and technology. Innovation means being open-minded, curious, and continuously improving. We collaborate with others, reward creative ideas, and understand that taking risks and learning from mistakes are important parts of being innovative. The final value is ownership. This means we do what is right, communicate with honesty and empathy, and live by strong principles. We aim to build trust by aligning our words with our actions. The behaviors supporting ownership include setting high standards, being fair, keeping our agreements, and holding ourselves and each other accountable. By doing so, we build a strong, trustful workplace. In conclusion, remember our values as A, E, I, O, and U, signifying the role of, that's my favorite part, signifying the role each of us play in making the city a great place to work. Our values represent who we are and what we strive to be. As we move forward, these values will shape our workplace culture and guide how we interact with each other and the community. As we begin to roll this out to our employees, we will start to see our new values integrated into how we are recognized and rewarded, a part of our training programs, and how we are evaluated. Values will also be part of our recruitment processes to attract candidates who share in our values. By doing this, we ensure that our values aren't just words on a page, but are truly lived out in our day-to-day activities. We look forward to your support in embedding these values in everything we do. Thank you, and welcome to our new and returning council members.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, staff. That's very important for the citizens to hear this, that everybody in this building works for you. And our job up here is to make sure that happens. And we want you to hold all of us accountable. So thank you very much. All right. Next, we have a presentation by the UCF Business Incubator showcasing the St. Cloud Elevator Pitch participants.
Good evening, Council. Antoinette Forbes, Economic Development Director. I wanted to take a very quick moment to introduce the UCF Business Incubator. They're one of our partners and resource providers in the city that provide little to no cost assistance to our local businesses. And so part of economic development in order to create or retain jobs is entrepreneurship, which is the cornerstone of capitalism. And so part of our goal in economic development is how do we engage, how do we recruit, how do we bring up our next level generation of entrepreneurs? So we partnered with the UCF Business Incubator, who created an elevator pitch workshop in conjunction with our new staff person, Raquel, who was able to bring this thing to fruition. I now have the site manager here, Esther Vargas, who's going to tell you a little bit about the program.
Thank you, Antoinette. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, all guests. My name is Esther Vargas. I am the site manager of the UCF Business Incubation Program here in Osceola County. And tonight I am here to express our gratitude for the recent opportunity that we had to collaborate with the City of St. Cloud on this unique elevator pitch series program that was held last month. So this elevator pitch series was designed to empower local entrepreneurs by helping them to craft and deliver a compelling pitch for their business. We kicked off the program with a hands-on workshop held at Cannery Park, where the participants dove deep into refining their pitches, and they gained a deeper understanding of the value that their business provides, not only to their customers, but to the economic vitality and growth of their local community here in St. Cloud. They also participated in one-on-one coaching sessions where they received personalized guidance to further develop their messaging and connect more deeply with their mission. The series culminated with a pitch day showcase, also hosted at Cannery Park, where participants delivered their elevator pitches with confidence and clarity to an engaged audience of peers, community members, and supporters. The event highlighted not only their business visions, but also the dedication they bring to strengthening our local economy. In support of their efforts, 12 participants received a $1,000 grant towards their operational costs, which is a meaningful step in helping them grow further and develop their businesses. And it was really inspiring to see that the participants in this series are more than just business owners. They're passionate community builders contributing to the economic and social fabric of St. Cloud. We're confident that the skills they learned at this elevator pitch series will continue to benefit these business owners well beyond this program, equipping them to clearly communicate their value, attract new customers, and grow their businesses sustainably. I would love to extend our heartfelt thanks to Antoinette Forbes, Raquel Landero, Coach Amy Busby, and to each of you, our city leaders, for your unwavering support in making this series a success. It is really through collaborative efforts such as these that we lay a strong foundation for continued economic growth and community vitality in St. Cloud. Now I would like to name each participating business individually, as they do represent the drive, dedication, and entrepreneurial spirit of St. Cloud's small business community. They are Air and Refrigeration Technology Services, All Accounting Services and Taxes, Brown Joy LLC, Crust and Crumb Social House, Home Rentals Depot, Honey's Body Butter, Josie Bath and Body, Pool Care 365, Precious Nails and Beauty, Provident House Assisted Living Facility, The Spice and Tea Trading Post, Thierry Enterprise LLC, and VNM Inspection Services. I'd love to invite our participants, staff, and city council members to join us here at the front of the room here to gather for a group photo. Please.
And you're actually kind of tall, so you can go for behind. Yeah. See everyone?
Okay, everybody look this way for me. Big smiles, gonna take a bunch, so.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
I like that whisper.
All right, next section. Next section of the meeting is the citizens forum. Any person who desires to comment on any item not on this agenda is provided this opportunity to address the city council. Each person is requested to complete a sign-in form to be provided to the presiding officers prior to or as soon as practical thereafter. The person addresses the council. When you come forward, we ask that you please state your name and address for the record, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Would anybody in the audience like to address the council? All right. Nobody, everybody's happy so far. All right, next section of the meeting is the consent agenda. This next portion of tonight's meeting is the consent agenda, which contains items that have been determined to be routine and non-controversial. If anyone in the audience wishes to address a particular item on the consent agenda, now is the opportunity for you to do so. Additionally, if staff or members of the city council wish to speak on the consent item, they have the same opportunity. I would now like to ask council if there are any items on the consent agenda that they would like to pull for discussion.
Mayor, I'd like to pull item I just to point something out real quick.
Item I. Anybody else? You guys? Good? All right. Councilmember Urban.
So we've had this discussion before, but since we have a couple of new council members here, I wanted to point out that this is this final plat process kind of adds an extra administrative barrier to getting the approvals through. This is a commercial property that's very much needed in our city. And I was going to see if maybe we can look in again to maybe making these final plats administrative approvals so that it wouldn't hold up a project like this and the business is getting started. Maybe we can direct staff into looking at a way that we can make that a possibility.
City manager.
Thank you. We have a draft ordinance that we had previously looked at. I'd be happy to bring it back through the process if the council would like to look at it again.
Okay.
And we can go ahead and start processing that if I have 3 nods. I have 3 nods. Thank you.
Yes.
That's all I have.
So, thank you, sir.
Mayor, I had a comment. Can we include the easement vacations in that as well?
I'll bring the whole
thing
the
back?
whole ordinance that we originally brought through, and council can give us direction if you what you like or don't like.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
all in the same
Sorry.
section, which is why it was
Okay.
brought back as one ordinance.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Same thing, I want to agree with Councilmember Urban, that we need to streamline this to help commercial business, as we all know here in the city of St. Cloud, we need more of, so I agree with you, Councilman.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. We do need commercial development here in the city, so let's do whatever we can to streamline that. All right, so if there's nothing else to talk about, let's see. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please make a roll call? Call the roll. Is that right?
We need a motion in a second.
Motion. Oh, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve
Sorry,
the
thank you,
consent
Dan.
agenda.
We'll help you.
Motion by Councilmember Urban, second by Councilmember Fletcher. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, we got to call individual.
Roll call.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. Next up, The resolution. Is that you, Claudia?
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-19, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately 16.2 acres identified as Lake Lizzie Residential Development located east Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway and east of Pine Grove Road in accordance with the voluntary annexation provisions of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
The department will present this item. Is the applicant present and would like that, and would the applicant wish to speak on this item?
Yes.
But does she speak first?
She's first.
Yeah, let the
Melissa,
staff will
would
go
you like to
first.
speak first?
Yes, sir. Good evening,
you.
Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. This case before you tonight is for a voluntary annexation for the project known as Lake Lizzie property. The request for annexation is in compliance with state statutes and is contiguous to city limits on the northwestern boundary of the property. The existing county future land use is low-density residential, and the existing county zoning is RS1C. Both staff and Planning Commission recommends approval. Likewise, it is requested that City Council approve ordinance number 2024-19 for the voluntary annexation of Lake Lizzie property. At this time, staff and the applicant are available for questions.
All right, is the applicant present, would the applicant wish to speak on this?
Yes. For the record, my name is Patrick Murray with RVI Planning and Landscape Architecture, 111 North Magnolia, Orlando, Florida. Just want to introduce myself. Again, my name is Patrick Murray. This is a voluntary annexation, but I do want to emphasize that we are contiguous to the city boundary and that the property is located in the joint planning area. In addition, any rezoning application is still under review, and that any development that is proposed will be brought in front of you and require additional approval. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on this item? Councilmember Urban.
So this is a annexation, which I would agree with. I think that the city should be in the driver's seat for these type of things. But one thing that concerns me is I think the county a little while back did an Alligator Lake plan where they sort of put together a plan for natural buffers and everything to protect our natural resources and lakes. And I would just like to see if the council could set up a future workshop to work on protecting the natural resources within our city as we grow out that way and lakefront property, to make sure we're protecting properties like this from our lakes and natural resources. If we can have a workshop to kind of do the same thing that the county did in the Alligator Lake plan there.
City Manager.
Yes, we can do that, and I believe I saw 3 nods.
Let's go and schedule that, please. All right, and do I have a motion to approve this item?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Fletcher,
Second.
second by Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-51, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending Chapter 3, Performance and Siting Standards by amending Article 14, titled Use Regulations, Sections 3.14.23 of the Land Development Code to update siting standards for mini warehouses and storage facilities, providing for suburbility, Scribner's error, conflict, codification, and an effective date.
All right, would staff like to speak on this item?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Melissa Dunklin again, Community Development Director. At a city council workshop held in March of 2021, staff was directed to create specific architectural standards for mini warehouses and storage facilities. This proposed land development code amendment proposes to add design standards, update the primary and prohibited uses, add secondary allowable uses, and reorganize the ordinance to consolidate and make it more comprehensive. This slide references the sections of the Land Development Code that are being amended. In addition to the primary use of storage, we are adding provisions to allow for secondary uses on the ground floor level of the storage facilities. If drive-through lanes are proposed, they must be located in the side or rear of the building. And for the secondary uses, such as truck rentals, a maximum of 2 trucks may be parked for display. Facilities may not be used for residential purposes, storage of any weapons, firearms, or ammo, storage of any illegal substances, or storage of animals. In order to preserve our valuable commercial frontage along our major roadways in the city, the minimum height of the mini warehouses must be 2 stories, and the maximum height shall be 3 stories if it's adjacent to single-family residential zoned areas. We are proposing to limit the curb cuts to 2 on any block face with no more than 3 total for any parcel. We are proposing to require interior access to the unit so that warehouse doors are not the predominant feature of the building facade, and we are restricting the visibility of the warehouse doors from the street. The required number of design elements, I don't think it flipped. There we go. The required number of design elements will be based upon the square footage of the building. Some of the design elements will include the base of the building shall be differentiated from the rest of the facade. All facades shall incorporate no less than 2 building materials. Building monotony shall be prevented. The color palette shall complement adjacent buildings. The dominant entryway shall reinforce character of the building, and building facades visible from the right-of-way shall have an appearance of an office or retail building. The lighting provided shall accentuate features and provides a safe environment. Allowable materials are defined in the ordinance, and any solid blank walls shall be avoided, and the minimum transparent material usage is established. Outdoor storage will be permitted only in the side and rear yards and shall be entirely screened from view from adjacent non-industrial property and public right-of-way. The screening shall be a 6-foot masonry wall at a minimum. Both staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. Likewise, it is requested that City Council approve ordinance number 2024-51. At this time, staff is available for questions.
All right, thank you. Would anybody like to speak on this item? All right, any comments from council? Councilmember Gilbert.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I've read this, and we do have storage units here in St. Cloud, and they're necessary for folks to store things. It's crazy that we in America, we have a house and then we have to store stuff somewhere else. But with this ordinance, I also say I have not fully understood everything that's in this ordinance, and I would like to continue this to another time, just because I don't quite understand all the regulations that we need to do. We're always going to need storage units in any city, county, or state that we have. It's just part of who we are as Americans. So I'd like to continue this to a further date for further investigation. That's what I'd say. I can't say yes or no, but I'd like to push it to another agenda if I may. That's my comments, and I'd pass it back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other comments from any other council member? I agree with Councilmember Gilbert. I'd like to ask for a continuance on this. Would you like to make a motion on that, Councilman?
Motion to continue?
Can I get a second?
Second.
So if I
I'm sorry,
may,
Motion, I need to read it, the motion.
no, you're
Sorry.
fine. They're fine. I just, you want an indefinite continuance? You want to continue to a specific date? How would you like direction? And I don't mean you particularly, I mean direction.
I appreciate that. Now that I'm the oldest student and the dais here, I might need a little more than 3 weeks. So I know it's different. Things aren't as fast as they used to be. But if we can continue it to a further date, not stated until we do our due diligence on this, if we could.
Okay, just for, and if I may, for explanation, mostly for the new council members, these are advertised ordinances. If you continued it to a set date, then you do not have to re-advertise it. If you don't know the date, that's fine. That's not an issue. We'll have to re-advertise the ordinance for final adoption at that time. So if you don't have a date, just give us a time period.
City Attorney, thank you for your advice. I don't mind us continuing it to the first or second month of 2025. Therefore, we don't have to re-advertise and cost the taxpayers more money. This will just give me more time to study the ordinance and the change of it,
So you want the first meeting in February?
if that would be okay with the council.
That's fine with me. I'd like to investigate a little more as well. Yeah, thank you.
I couldn't see your other thumb. It's the 9th,
Sorry, January 9th.
February. We're talking about February,
Oh, February would be the 13th.
February 13th. So if your motion would be to continue it till February 13th.
If we may, please.
And Councilwoman Paul, you're okay with that since you seconded it?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please read item number 3 into the record.
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-56, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately 30.38 acres identified as Nova Road subdivision from R-1, single-family dwelling, zoning designation to R-1B, single-family dwelling zoning designation with a low-density residential future land use designation generally located east of Shaker Palm Place, west of Nova Road, providing for entering the designation on the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, suburbility, and effective date.
Thank you. Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. This case before you tonight is for the zoning map amendment for the project known as Nova Road subdivision. The existing zoning designation is R1 Single Family. The requested zoning designation is R1B Single Family, which is consistent with the existing land use designation of Low Density Residential. This request is compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. Here are graphic representations of the future land use and zoning maps depicting the low-density residential land use and the existing R1 zoning district for context. On or before July 25th, 2024, staff recommended approval. Planning Commission also recommended approval. Likewise, it is requested that City Council approve ordinance number 2024-56 for the zoning map amendment known as Nova Road subdivision. At this time, staff and the applicant are available for questions.
Would the applicant like to speak to this item?
Good evening, John Adams, RJ Whitten Associates, 8 Broadway, Kissimmee, Florida, 34741. We're in agreement with staff and Planning Commission for recommendation for approval of this. I'd be happy to answer any of you guys' questions.
Thank you, John. We have a request to address the City Council. John Melvin.
Good evening, council members. As I said, my name is John Melvin. I'm a resident of the Wesley Estates, which is right behind the what they want to start building in. So my residents, people there, the only problem that we're saying is there's going to be just too much going on, too much traffic. Right now, you have a high school being built, you have a bus depot being built, you have, as soon as you turn into Nova Road, you have a big old apartment complex being built. And we just think that you need to work on the roads, get some roads in there, at least put in another lane so we won't be stuck trying to get out to go do what we have to do as residents of Wesley Estates. We understand that, St. Cloud is growing and we have no problem with that. We just want you to, don't put the cart before the horse. All right? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And can we bring the subdivision back up on the screen, please? Melissa? What is that? Is that Bluebird Groves at the northern boundary? Is that going to be a road? Does that connect across Nova?
We're working on an interlocal
Does that line up
agreement
with
with the with the school district and Osceola County, and also with Pulte, I think,
Pulte through Center Lake
through
Properties.
Center Lake
Yeah.
Properties to work on paving Bluebird Groves Parkway.
Okay.
So it'll hopefully come before you soon.
And as I understand it, Center Lake, that road through Center Lake Ranch will come about in that area. Is that correct? Is it going to be near there?
North. It appears that it'll be north of there.
Just north of it. Okay.
Mhm.
So the bulk of that traffic will go north through Center Lake. That's
Well, whenever this property comes in to develop, it'll have to come to city council because they'll have to do a preliminary subdivision plan. At the subdivision construction plan stage, they have to do a traffic impact analysis, and that will demonstrate where the traffic is going to go. It's kind of early in the stage right now to determine the direction that traffic will flow.
And if I may, Osceola County is also having a transportation impact analysis with the school district for the high school entrance and for the bus depot. So there is the potential that there's going to be additional improvements over there also.
okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Touch on
Yep.
traffic.
Mhm.
Just a few things real quick. One of this is, again, as Melissa stated, this is a zoning application. There'll be a later next stage, a preliminary subdivision application. They'll actually show lots and different things of that nature. You guys will get that opportunity to review that at that time when that application comes in. One thing I want to point out, I mentioned traffic with Nova Road. Nova Road is currently a framework road in Osceola County. It's currently under a PD&E study. So the county's already studying widening the road. That study is supposed to wrap up early next year and then go into a design phase. The design for it's a 4-lane divided highway with pedestrian and bike lane access along it. It's a 5-mile stretch from US 192 to the future Sunbridge connector just on the east side of C32 Canal, further northeast of here. So that Nova Road's already being looked at for improvements. It's already on the county's radar. It hasn't been funded yet, but it's going through that process to be widened. And that likely would start before any development on this property happens.
What's the timeline on development? Just curious. You said that you think that road work's going to be at least
Timeline on
started?
development, right now, it's, we're here for the zoning. We haven't even submitted a preliminary subdivision application. That typically takes 3 to 4 months to go through a staff review. Then it goes to your DRC, Planning Commission, and then 2 readings here. So before, at the earliest, I think a preliminary subdivision, you would look at 6 months. And then it would go to engineering plans after that, that again come to the board for review.
And city manager, are you familiar with that road? I guess the county widening Nova.
Personally, no, but we have our transportation staff in both the planning and the public works department that work with the county and are attending any type of meetings of roads within St. Cloud whenever they have public meetings, or individually as staff has the opportunity to talk with the county staff.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Gilbert.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Nova Road is definitely expanding. Buildings going out there, high schools going out there. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know that road has to be widened and has to be accessible, and Center Lake is going to connect to it. And I know 417, I think, is going to come somewhere down the line there. It would be great if I had a crystal ball and say what's going to happen in how many years, but being on the Metro Plan Board, this is in our purview and this is in our eyesights, and we know it needs to be expanded. So I just know that area, and I know with the high school and the bus depot that road has to, at one point, where we can't control it, but it will have to be expanded. And that's all I have to say with that. And I yield back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Would anybody else like to speak on this item? All right, can I get a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
Second, please.
I'll second, but I had a quick comment as well. Just wanted to say kind of second what Councilmember Gilbert was saying, and if he does have that crystal ball, I'd like to know the lottery numbers too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But yeah, I grew up off of Nova Road. It's changed drastically since then, and there definitely are a lot of plans out there as far as the connector and everything. So as you know, as we grow, I think we just need to be on the lookout for all the transportation improvements coming here. But I would second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion from Councilmember Gilbert, second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read item number 4 into the record.
Public hearing for resolution number 2024-145R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud of Osceola County, Florida, pursuant to section 196.1978, section 3, subsection O, Florida statutes, electing to not exempt property under section 196.1978, section 3, subsection D, 1A, Florida statutes, commonly known as the Live Local Act property tax exemption, providing for suburbility and providing for an effective date.
Good evening. Melissa Dunklin, Community Development Director. This item was heard previously at a council meeting on September 12th. Due to an advertisement error by the newspaper and to comply with Florida state statutes, this item was re-advertised, actually advertised for the first time, and must be heard again by City Council for approval. State statutes requires that Osceola County property appraiser exempt certain rental properties from ad valorem taxes if such properties meet the criteria of the Live Local Act property tax exemption. Beginning with the 2025 tax roll, Florida statutes allows taxing authorities to opt out of providing this Live Local Act property tax exemption to units in multifamily projects that are used to house natural persons or families whose annual income is between 80 and 120% of the median annual adjusted gross income for households within the metropolitan statistical area. The Live Local property tax exemption would grant a 75% exemption to qualifying multifamily projects. The city may opt out of the exemption if the Schimberg Housing Study identifies an excess of affordable rental households in our metropolitan statistical area. The city of St. Cloud is in the Orlando Kissimmee, Florida MSA, which the Schimberg Housing Study identified having an excess of 799 units. If the City Council approves the opt-out, it will become effective for the 2025 tax year and must be renewed annually if It is to remain in place based on the latest Schimberg annual report. Staff recommends approval, and we are requesting that City Council approve Resolution Number 2024-145R. At this time, staff is available for questions.
All right, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? All right, anybody in council would like to speak on this? All right, can I entertain a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve from Councilmember Fletcher, second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please read item number 5 into the record.
Public hearing for resolution number 2024-175R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending resolution number 2024-120R, which adopted the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget for the City of St. Cloud, finding the city manager has certified there are prior year fund balances and or current revenues available in the budget for additional projects and programs in various funds not included in the original budget, requiring the budget to be increased to include said additional funding in various funds and making supplemental appropriations within the funds.
Jeff Cooper, Finance Director. This is budget amendment number 1 to our current fiscal year, 2024-2025. As mentioned, the city manager has certified funds are available to appropriate for these projects. And a summary of them is as follows. We're recognizing grant revenues and the associated expenditures for $117,000 for drone replacement and $200 for motorcycle grant and $250,000 for drone replacement grant. Police department pay has been increased to match what the county and other local municipalities have done. That was no additional funds. We're just making some funding realignment within funds that were already budgeted. Project PR 2503 dock repairs for $500,000. We have, I believe it's the north end docks that are in need of repair for $500,000. Replace transfer station floor of $310,000 funded by the sanitation fund. Prior year fund balance, that was part of the damage of the fire from a couple years ago. Replacement trailer for solid waste fleet of $142,259, also out of the sanitation fund. And we were directed by the previous council to complete project SW 2502, which is to complete clay drive piping for $150,000. Apparently, one side of the road has been completed, so this will complete the other side of the road. And staff recommendation is approval of resolution 2024-175R, and we're asking City Council to also approve this resolution. And if you have any questions, let me know.
All right, thank you. Anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? All right, any council members? Councilmember Gilbert.
Well, we talked about Clay Drive, and I think previous council members knew that when the building went up, there was one side of the road that had been piped, and then we decided to do the other, which was definitely necessary. So that, to myself and other council members, I'd like to suggest that be approved, because if you look at it, one side of the road was approved, the other side wasn't, and it was because the buildings that came up in the present affected the past residents there. So I think that's a great dollar spent, and it needed to be done. I yield back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other discussion? And can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved from Councilmember Fletcher. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Gilbert. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, can you please read item number 6 into the record?
Public hearing for resolution number 2024-186R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending resolution number 2023-154R, which adopted the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget for the City of St. Cloud, finding the city manager has certified there are prior year fund balances and/or current revenues available in the budget for additional projects and programs in various funds not included in the original budget, requiring the budget to be increased to include said additional funding in the various funds and making supplemental appropriations within the funds.
Jeff Cooper, Finance Director. This is budget amendment number 6, or our final budget amendment from our fiscal year 23-24, which ended September 30th. 2024. All this is a realignment of salary and benefit funding and some operational funding within the general fund. It's zero net change, no added budget. And we do this every year in the month of November. Staff are recommending approval of resolution 2024-186R, and we're asking City Council for your approval.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? All right, any council discussion? And can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher,
I second.
motion from Councilmember Paul. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coop.
All right, this brings us to council action section. Madam Clerk, please read council action number 1.
Discussion and possible action regarding the selection of deputy mayor.
Councilmember Urban.
I would nominate Councilmember Fletcher for that position.
I would second it.
All right, so we have a motion from Councilmember Urban and a second from Councilmember Gilbert to appoint. Is that appoint Councilmember Fletcher as deputy mayor? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, guys.
Ooh, here's where.
All right, Madam Clerk, please read council action number 2.
Discussion and possible action regarding council serving on committee, boards, and other entities.
All right, council, any?
May I make a motion that we go down each of the membership applications and appoint the appropriate council members, or either renew their appointment or assign new appointees to that those memberships, if possible, Mayor.
Yes, sir. So you're saying if you currently sit on that board, you'd like the first, like to sit on it again or decline?
Well, some things do well over education, and some of us been on boards for 1 or 2 or 3 years that we're now being a better impact in those boards to further benefit the city of St. Cloud. There are other boards that have come available that new council members or board members would do really well on going on some boards because they're new board members, such as the chamber and things like that maybe new council members, including yourself, Mr. Mayor, and Councilwoman Ms. Paul, that would go on to boards that would help them in their first few years on those boards. So some of the boards, I believe that you need to have the educational value over a certain period of time. And then some boards that when you first come into this dais and into this position, that's best suited for you to go on those boards and those people in those local communities. So I'm just opening it up that we can discuss all the boards, Mr. Mayor,
Absolutely. Sure.
and see who's best on this council. There's 5 great council members here, and they'll represent us well, but I think some are suited better for others. Some are more educational that some of the council members have put 2 to 4 years in that are making headways to bring additional dollars and things into the city of St. Cloud. Mr. Mayor, that's the only thing I would like to do is discuss each one of them, which is best suited for the citizens of St. Cloud of who represents us in those boards.
Yes,
So
sir.
I yield back.
Yes, sir. I will go ahead and start reading off. So we have the Education Foundation of Osceola County. Councilmember Fletcher, Deputy Mayor Fletcher currently sits on that.
Oh, look at you, man.
Is that something you have interest in continuing?
Yes, thank you.
The Help Now of Osceola County, we have Deputy Mayor Fletcher on that.
So there is the chief of police is on this, and I would like for him to continue serving. He does a lot of work with Help Now, with domestic violence prevention, and I think it's an asset for our city to have the chief of police sit on Help Now. So I'd like to continue that for him.
So you don't sit on that?
No, the chief of police is on that one.
Okay.
We did speak with Ms. Douglas, and she did state that if the board wanted to have another council member, that they would, I think, be willing to do that. They bring it to their board for adoption.
I definitely agree with that. Deputy Mayor Fletcher. See, I did it right.
Okay.
So Chief Gerke sits on that board for us?
Correct.
Okay. Metro Plan, Councilmember Gilbert.
This has been one of the 2 years of experience going to classes, going to weekend classes, and what this board does is bring dollars to the east part of Osceola County through the $2.3 billion that's allotted through the Metro Plan Board. I've been working diligently for the last 2 years and going to school and studying and getting certificates, and I think we're making headway, and Deputy Mayor Fletcher is the alternate. If we could keep it this way, great. If everybody else thinks they could do a better job of getting monies brought to East Osceola County and the city of St. Cloud, I'd be open for discussion.
I'd like to speak on that. I know Councilmember Gilbert has always bragged about his efforts on the Metro Plan Board. He's very proud of that. And tonight, of course, he was able to speak about that tonight. So yes, I'd support that for you on that. So
Deputy Mayor Fletcher?
I'm good with that.
We're good.
Osceola Chamber Board of Directors. Now there's 3 boards that I guess, as you said, that are more the beginners, I guess would be good. So like the Osceola Chamber, the St. Cloud Chamber, the St. Cloud Main Street. So let's talk about Osceola Chamber Board of Directors. Anybody have an interest in that? I would have an interest in that if nobody else.
Would you? Okay.
Good.
I would think that'd be great for the Osceola Chamber. I don't want to jump forward, but the St. Cloud Chamber, Council Member Paul would probably be good for that. It really entwines you in the folks in both the county and the city for those chambers, which the business people that do business in Osceola County and the city of St. Cloud are great chambers to be about. And you get to meet a lot of the commercial business people that go. So I would recommend you, Mayor, for the Osceola Chamber Board of Directors, if I may.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Councilmember Paul, St. Cloud Chamber of Commerce, would you be interested in that?
Yes, I'll step up to that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
All right, let's go back to the Osceola Council on Aging. We had Councilmember Urban on that.
Yeah,
Do you have
so,
interest in continuing that?
I'm happy to continue, but also I'm happy to delegate that to somebody else if you'd like. So up to you guys.
Does anyone else have an interest in the Council on Aging? I'm familiar with them. I sat on their board for about 4 years, their housing board, and never was on their big board. So yes, I would happily accept that.
Okay.
The OUC Joint Contract Administrative Committee. Do we have 2 seats, citizen and?
The city council can appoint a citizen and a council member. I did recently have a recommendation that I received from OUC that whoever sits on the FMPA, the Florida Municipal Power Agency, may also want to be the same person, because our quarterly meeting, we're going over discussions about minutes of interruption and looking at charts, and it seems like there may be some
Overlap.
some overlap. Yes.
Who currently sits on that?
Well, I sit on the FMPA board. I do enjoy that. I've learned quite a lot. It's been a huge learning curve to learn about the municipal power industry, and I'd be happy to do that as well on the OUC board if the council would allow that.
So Mayor, I believe that's one council member and one citizen. Is that correct? City Manager?
Yes. And yes, and one citizen.
There's 3 city representatives on the committee, 1 appointed by the city manager, 2 appointed by the city council.
I appoint myself.
She looks in the mirror and says, "You're appointed."
Yeah, and who second that, Veronica?
No, so, yeah. So you'll have to do the citizen, if you want to call it the citizen position, is currently open on that.
So do we appoint that one?
Not at this, well, you're going to do that when you do your, well, I don't know when we're going to do that. When are you going to do
We
this?
typically do that in January.
Can we do that in January?
February? I'm looking at the clerk because
This one's a little bit different. This one's individual. So you can appoint it now.
Okay.
we haven't typically advertised for it. I would also offer that the previous mayor did state that if the council was interested, he'd be happy to serve as the resident since he's been on it for 8 years. But at your pleasure, unless you want to.
Let's talk to council about that, because if you look at somebody that's been on the board for 8 years and it's going to be a citizen that could contribute to the city of St. Cloud as a citizen that has 8 years of experience and being a business owner, knowing that if you have somebody that 8 years in your company, they could probably help you out more than somebody that has never been experienced with that company. So as a citizen, Mr. Blackwell could probably benefit the citizens of St. Cloud, just my opinion, because of 8 years experience. But I'm certainly open to a concept of anybody that would like to have that position as a citizen. Because again, it's a non-paid board. It's somebody that's doing it out of their heart for the help, not for the pocket in the pocketbook. So 8 years experience, maybe that's a good thing that this council should think at, but open to anybody that can contribute as a citizen. Because again, as the mayor said, Mayor Robinson, we work for the citizens. So I open it up to the board for the council for discussion, if I may, Mayor.
Yeah, Councilmember Gilbert, I agree with you 100%. I spoke with former Mayor Blackwell, and he expressed interest in this. And I guess that one of their main focus is the final solution of the power plant building, and he would like to see that through. So I definitely, I agree with that, with his nomination for that. Yeah. Everybody, okay.
So what you're doing, and I was going to get to some, you're basically creating a slate. So if you can keep track, and I think you are, so you're quickly jotting down.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of this, we would just take one motion to approve the whole slate of the appointments, if that makes sense, including the appointment of former Mayor Blackwell to this committee.
All right, next, the Policymakers Liaison Committee. Oh, that's Colby, you're on this one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I guess
Councilmember
those
Urban, you're on this.
two would go hand in hand. I would like to continue serving on that if I could.
Absolutely. All right, and Jim Paul, St. Cloud Main Street.
So this one, I love serving on Main Street, but since I've just picked up another board, I would be happy to delegate that if anybody else would be interested in serving there. It's a great organization.
They meet at night, correct?
Yeah, usually Monday nights.
Monday nights.
Monday nights.
Do you have any interest in that? If not, no.
I mean,
You guys?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Councilmember Paul.
It's a great board, Councilman.
You had me at, it meets at night.
If it met in the morning, Mr. or Deputy Mayor, may not go.
And I would, the last is Tourist Development Council. Councilmember Gilbert has been tremendous on that council. I've seen him from afar. But anybody I recommend Councilmember Gilbert if he still wants to sit on that.
I do, and I think with my background in the private industry and functions with trade shows, conventions, corporate meetings, corporate events, we've helped. We have brought hundreds of thousands of dollars to the city of St. Cloud through the TDC grants and things such as that. I would like to get more involved with that, and I would bring it to council at one point where we have tourist destinations now, along with a riverboat and different things like that, that we approach the TDC of grant money for future things to bring tourism back to the city of St. Cloud, because it's definitely an economical impact. And I think we can continue to do so. In the TDC board, Experience Kissimmee does a great job of that, and they do have grant money. And please don't quote me on this, but we brought in probably over $200,000 to St. Cloud entities with the TDC and grant monies for that. Also Osceola County and also the city of Kissimmee. Great board, a lot of money. I don't know if you all know this, but the rental houses actually make more money now than the hotels do in tourism development taxes. It used to be where the hotels with the TDC. Now it's actually the rental property. So as we grow as a city of St. Cloud, I do believe we'll see some of those houses come in here to do that and bring additional dollars to the city of St. Cloud. So I'd be honored to continue on this and bring more money to the city of St. Cloud if the council will allow me to do that.
Yes, sir. You've been amazing on that. And I encourage any nonprofits every year, that Tourist Development Council, they actually give out marketing grants to nonprofits. But you got to get it. It's a one-time and it's good for the whole year. So they do it once a year. So we need St. Cloud nonprofits to really apply. We do have a few, but all right. Next up, the Tri-County League of Cities. Currently, Mayor Blackwell was on that. Councilmember Fletcher, do you have an interest in that?
Yes, Mayor. I would actually really enjoy to take that seat.
All right. Next up, the Water Cooperative of Central Florida.
If I may, that board also has a lot of information that carries over from the Toho Water Authority. I think we have one of the council members which it's not on here, is a non-voting member on the Toho Water Board. And a lot of the same projects are discussed, so it may be beneficial to have the same person on both. And whoever you select for the water co-op.
You're on a roll.
Toho Water has requested that we have a resolution approved this evening, which I think is at all of your tables. They need a formal.
Yeah, the agreement, the Water Cooperative Interlocal Agreement among the entities requires a resolution for this one appointment. So when that slate's adopted, you would be approving that resolution. So we just
Who currently sits on that?
So I'm on
Mr. Urban.
the Toho board. I'd be happy to serve on the Water Cooperative as well to keep it consistent if the council would allow that.
Oh, I see Colby over the point. Okay. All right, I believe that's all. And so can we entertain a motion for approving all of these nominations or selections as well as the resolution? Does that go all in together?
Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
Do we read the resolution into the record?
You can if you feel like it. Yes, why don't you read it? Thank you.
Resolution number 2024-200R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, appointing a council representative to serve on the board of the Water Cooperative of Central Florida and providing an effective date.
Do we ask for comment on that?
First, we could get a motion first.
Yes. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher, second from Councilmember Urban. Do we have any comments from council or from the public? Mr. Norman, nothing to say?
All right, I'll take it.
All right, so we have a motion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. This next section is the first reading and introduction section. The next items on the agenda are ordinances. Is that right?
Number 3.
Oh, number 3. Oh, I see it way up here. Sorry. So this is still under council action.
Yes.
Discussion and possible action regarding the appointments of seat number 1, seat number 5, alternate 1, and alternate 2 on the Historic Preservation Board.
And Mr. Mayor, if I just make comment, we are doing these citizen appointments out of order. Typically, as the city manager pointed out, you do them early in the year in either January or February. This board, though, has had several vacancies recently, and so they do not have a sufficient number of individuals to have a quorum. So we pushed it up so that we could get some individuals appointed so the board can meet and do the business of the board. That's why it's on your agenda tonight.
Thank you. Deputy City Clerk.
Sorry, I guess wrong box.
Yeah,
I just
City
wanted
Clerk.
to let you know, you have 2 applications in front of you that were not included in the package. It is Christine Lattis Drake and Dawn Snell. They're additional and you have them in front of you. If you could please make your recommendations and then we can make one motion at the end. And all of these appointments are at large, meaning they're not coterminous with any seat. So you can make an appointment for any of the seats.
I would like to appoint Christine to the seat 1 if I may.
I'll second that.
One motion.
City Attorney, do we vote on that each individually or all together? Did you?
You just said you want to do it as a
We do the-
slate, right? Just so similarly to what you just did, if you could get
But
all
I need a
this.
second motion, then we ask for a motion second and then just vote on the whole thing at the end?
I
How
think,
does that work?
well, I think right now you've had one appointment to seat 1, right? So if you can go
But
through.
we
each
don't
of-
need a we don't need a
No,
second.
no, we would take
That's where
one
I'm-
motion at the
You're
end
fine.
saying a motion to appoint as just indicated or something.
All right, so we have a motion to appoint Christine Lattis Drake to seat 1. Do we have a nomination for seat 2 or seat 5?
Mayor, if I could interrupt, this board has requirements on the positions. So there has to be 2 members of specific professions or citizen member. It's minimum of 3 members shall be chosen from among the disciplines of architecture, history, architectural history, archaeology, landscape architecture, construction management, engineering, planning, or a person who is a general contractor. So on your pieces of paper, you can see the board already has an engineer and a historian, but if I'm interpreting this correctly, then you need to have at least one more who is of those fields. Did I say
Yes,
that?
you
Did
got
I
that
say that
right.
well?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so you're saying we need a building contractor or an engineer. So there's, we've already filled the citizen member. Is that correct?
So you can have several citizen members. So Miss Bobby Bryant Lantry, it says she has multiple qualifications. I don't know which ones she has. You have an engineer, you have a historian. I don't know if Miss Lantry has one of the 3.
Excuse me, Miss Bobby Bryant Lantry will be terming out in February. So she cannot be reappointed to this board.
Well, I'm not asking
Okay.
about reappointment. I'm trying to make sure that we're meeting the requirements of the board.
So you have, right,
Mhm.
to clarify, you have 3 remaining positions based on the 1 nomination you have right now. You have 1 regular position and you have 2 alternates. I think you can appoint, to meet the qualifications, I think you can appoint a contractor or an engineer to seat 5, which is vacant. And as I recall, there's an applicant there's a contractor and an engineer that have submitted an application. So you could appoint one of those to seat 5, and we would need another one, and you can appoint the other one to one of the alternate positions.
I'd
Well,
like to.
no, that'll be the third. It's a minimum
Okay, it
of
would be
three.
third. Okay, oh, this historian, I'm sorry.
Right.
you're
It
right.
would just be though that in January or February.
We'd have to go through the process again.
We'd have to get one of those qualifications to replace Miss Lantry.
So if you appointed, and then one of the other rules, and I apologize, I know this can be somewhat unyielding because of all the things, right? So one of the other sort of unwritten rules that the city council has is that a person who serves as an alternate gets to kind of step up into an open position. That's kind of one of the things that the council has sort of followed, loosely.
Well, they directed staff.
Which are direct. So you could appoint one of the other individuals that meets the contractor or engineers to one of the alternate positions, and then in February they can move up into the regular seat, if that makes sense.
Sure. Councilmember Fletcher, do you have anybody in mind?
I'd like to nominate John as the building contractor for seat 5.
John DeLeo.
Yeah, I got the last name.
DeLulo.
I don't know how to
Yep.
say it.
All right, so we have the 2 alternate seats, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to nominate James Axelson,
That would be
For-
alternate 1.
alternate 1.
And I would like to nominate Don Snell for alternate number 2.
Good.
All right, Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call on the nominations?
We'll just get a motion for the slate, just a motion
Motion.
for all the nominations.
Can I get a motion for all of the nominations?
Motion to approve the list of nominations.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher,
Second.
second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next section of the meeting is the first reading and introduction section. The next items on the agenda are ordinances before the council for first reading and introduction for the sole purpose of the council to authorize the publication of the ordinance for a final hearing. The council will not take final action on the item tonight. Full presentations and public input on the ordinances will occur at a final hearing at which the council will consider final action. Madam Clerk, please read council action number 1.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-71, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately plus minus 1.64 acres identified as Palm Properties located east of Narcousie Road, north of East Earlo Bronson Memorial, south of Lillian Lee Road, west of Puffin Road, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provision of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak on this item?
Well, and Mr. Mayor, the process is that final public hearing will be at the final adoption, so you don't have to ask for public hearing at this one.
Can I have a motion for the approval of ordinance number 2024-71?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher, second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please read council action number 2.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-72, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation, low-density residential, to approximately plus minus 1.64 acres, identified as Palm Properties located east of Narcousie Road, north of East Earlo Bronson Memorial, and south of Lillian Lee Road, west of Puffin Road, providing for amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, severability, copies on files, and effective date.
Can I have a motion for approval of ordinance number 2024-72?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher,
Second.
second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please call council action number 3.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-73, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately plus minus 1.64 acres identified as Palm Properties from AC Agriculture to A Agricultural zoning designation with a low-density residential future land use designation generally located east of Narcousie Road, north of East Earl Bronson Memorial, south of Lillian Lee Road, and west of Poffin Road, providing for entering this designation on the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, suburbility, and effective date.
Can I have a motion for the approval of ordinance number 2024-73?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Fletcher,
Second.
second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please call council action number 4.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-74, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately plus minus 5.59 acres identified as Toho Marine, located north of Friars Cove Road, east of Glenda Court, and south of Canoe Creek Road, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provisions of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
And can I have a motion for the approval of ordinance number, is that we're on 7-4? Is that correct? 2024-74.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved from Councilmember Urban, second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher, Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Madam Clerk, please call council action number 5.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-75, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation commercial to approximately plus minus 5.59 acres identified as Toho Marine, north of Friars Cove Road, east of Glenda Court, and south of Canoe Creek Road, providing for the amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, suburbility, copies on files, and effective date.
And can I have a motion for the approval of ordinance number 2024-75?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Gilbert. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher, Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Madam Clerk, please call council action number 6.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-76, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately plus minus 5.59 acres identified as Toho Marine from AC Agriculture to HB Highway Business Zoning designation with a commercial future land use designation generally located north of Friars Cove Road, east of Glenda Court, and south of Canoe Creek Road, providing for entering the designation on the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, suburbility, and effective date.
All right, can I get a motion for the approval of ordinance number 2024-76?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
And second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher, Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Madam Clerk, please call council number action number 7.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-77, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation, LDR, low density residential, to approximately plus minus 17 acres identified as long residence, providing for amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, suburbility, copies on files, and effective date.
All right, can I get a motion for the approval of ordinance number 2024-77?
Motion to approve.
For a second.
Motion from Deputy Mayor Fletcher, second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Clerk, please recall council action number 6.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-78, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 24, Environment, Article 3, Noise Control, Section 24-81 et sec, providing for suburbility, codification, and effective date.
And can I get a motion for the approval of ordinance 2024-78?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Councilmember Fletcher,
A second.
second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban, Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And Madam Clerk, please call council action number 9.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-79, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Osceola County, Florida, creating and enacting Chapter 28 offenses, Article 1 in general, Section 28-6, public camping or sleeping of the St. Cloud City Code, providing for findings, purpose, intent, and definitions, making the act of public camping an offense punishable by law, providing for program implementation requirements, and providing for enforcement and administrative procedures, providing for conflict, suburbility, administrative correction, codification, publication, and effective date.
And can I get a motion for the approval of
Motion.
ordinance?
Motion to approve, Mayor?
Motion from Councilmember Gilbert,
Second.
second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And Madam Clerk, please read council action number 10.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-80, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation, medium density residential, to approximately plus minus 3.27 acres identified as Tracy Manor, located east of Orange Avenue, north of East 19th Street, south of East 17th Street, and west of Crawford Avenue, providing for amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, suburbility, copies on file, and effective date.
And can I get a motion for the approval of ordinance 2024-80?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Fletcher.
I second.
Councilmember Paul, seconds. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And Madam Clerk, please call council action number 11.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-81, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately plus minus 3.27 acres identified as Tracy Manor from R-1A single-family dwelling to R-4 multifamily dwelling zoning designation with a medium-density residential future land use designation generally located east of Orange Avenue, north of East 19th Street, south of East 17th Street, and west of Crawford Avenue, providing for entering the designation on the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, suburbility, and effective date.
And can I get a motion, ordinance number 2024-81?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Deputy Mayor Fletcher,
I second.
second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, well, that about wraps that up. City Attorney, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, just to welcome the new council member and the new mayor. Looking forward to working with you both.
Appreciate
And of course, Mr. Urban, welcoming you back.
And
Thank you.
our City Attorney.
She's
I'm sorry.
wanted to go to law school. Keeps telling me that.
I did.
Big mistake, no.
One path was law, one path was government. So city manager, I just also wanted to congratulate all of you. I know there's a lot of work that went into it for each of you, so congratulations. I also wanted to thank staff that put on the swearing in today. They did a lot of work behind the scenes, and we've never had to plan for as many people as we had to plan for today. So they did a great job. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, and council members, Councilmember Paul. Is that how, do I go online
Yes.
that way?
Yeah, 1 through 5. yeah.
Good evening to everyone. Wanted to say today was a beautiful day. Look forward to working with everyone on the council. And that's all I have. So
And Councilmember Urban?
I would second that. It's a wonderful day. I would like to welcome the new council members. I'm very excited about working with you to work for the residents of St. Cloud. And again, I want to thank staff as well. I know they worked very hard today to put together such a great ceremony and reception. So thank you for that. That's all.
Thank you. And Councilmember Gilbert?
Politics isn't that pretty. And not being a career politician, just knowing I serve the Lord and serve the people. I admire both of you for your campaigns, and Kobe, yours too is the toughest one I ever seen. You didn't what happened, but the recognition of this council and this dais does not go unnoticed that we serve the people of St. Cloud. The past 2 years, the folks that are up here, I believe we served the citizens of St. Cloud. We didn't always agree. We didn't always have, but that's beautiful. The freest, most wonderful country in the world. But together, I believe the next 2 years of us 5 together will make St. Cloud a better place. So I welcome you and congratulations.
thank you.
Deputy Mayor Fletcher.
I just had a couple things. First off, it's awesome to have you guys sitting up here and joining the team that represents the citizens, as that's ultimately what we're here to do. It's really also nice to see a bunch of St. Cloud kids getting back up here to be able to serve our residents. I know you weren't born here, but you've been around long enough that you might as well be.
Well, Milt was here. I'm 36 years here.
And he
I
actually-
already know if anybody's 36 years here.
Exactly, that's my point.
He acts like a St. Cloud kid.
And then just a couple items. The Lantern Festival is on November 22nd. If you haven't been to that, it's at the St. Cloud Lakefront. It's not something that's put on by the city. It's a group that has come here for the last couple of years, and it's one of the most amazing events that I've seen in the city. It's November 22nd from 4 to 8. I did speak with the city manager's office, and they're going to notify the residents down there. I know that staff's been working diligently on that. And then I had an elderly couple reach out to me, and they had some issues with some potholes, and sent an email to staff. And by 8:30 the next morning, it was paved. They were happy and already had a thank you phone call that afternoon from the resident. So kudos to staff. So that's all I have.
Well, I'd like to first say, obviously, it's going to be a learning curve for me. So I'm, starting to get the hang, I guess, as I went through the meeting. But I appreciate y'all bearing with me. It's an honor to serve the citizens. We all work for you. We want to do the best we can. I worked here briefly a number of years ago, And I like to see many changes. I know internally, city manager over the past couple of years, she's made many changes here that I have not seen yet, but I hope to. The city attorney as well. One thing I would like, I wasn't present when we did have a workshop for talking about an in-house city attorney. You know, we've grown 68,000, almost 70,000 people. And I would like to schedule a workshop to discuss an in-house, whether it be a full-time in-house or a hybrid in-house with a supplement counsel. If that's something y'all would have some interest in, I would like to go ahead and schedule that, Ms. City Manager. I'd like to go ahead and do that.
I'm looking for consensus.
The mayor can, I can do it yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
It's mayor or vote of 3 council members, right? Can schedule me. Yeah.
Can schedule
But-
any meeting.
Yeah, just to schedule a meeting, but we want to check and make sure everybody is able to attend that, of course. What's everybody's schedule?
We have to look at, well,
Next week.
the nice thing
Councilmember Paul?
is that Kelly's done a great job of getting our schedules together because we all have separate entities. I know this is a very high-paying, full-time job that we have here, but some of us have other jobs. Well, maybe not me, but other folks do. But yeah, we can schedule what makes sense for everybody. And Kelly does a really good job at coordinating that. It's kind of like, wow, who's available this day or that day, Mr. Mayor? But she'll do a great job of doing that, and all the future workshops. Kelly does a good job of scheduling that. If you agree with that, I mean, it's tough
That's fine.
because what day or date we don't know, but she does a good job.
Yeah, does anybody know the schedules of everybody? Do we have that in line, in tune with what's available? We're at Fridays.
So when we try to schedule items, she's had to make some creative calendars in the past with color coding to see when everybody's available. But that's a good point because I know I was discussing that with you earlier that I believe that we had a conversation that Fridays would be easier for meetings. Previously, we were doing them Thursdays at 3.
I'm good with next Friday, during the day, at night, whatever's good for y'all. What fits?
Could we just have Kelly
We can have-
coordinate that?
we can
Would that be
check
okay,
it
Mr.
Friday.
Mayor?
Absolutely.
Kelly will do that, and what she does is open up the calendar. What's the best day? What's the best time? Because I know some people work 8 to 5. Sean doesn't work, and I don't work. Well, oh, I'm sorry.
City attorney, is that works during the day? Is that works better if it's
Oh,
well,
sure.
whatever?
I mean,
Okay.
I'm here
Friday.
4 days a week, so it's a good chance I'll be here.
Okay.
I will say that next Friday, I will not be here. I actually have vacation scheduled. I'm gone Friday through Monday. I come back Monday, but someone else can sit if needed. I have a new actually, I failed.
There's no action. It's just a
I
workshop.
failed
so
to
it's- yeah.
introduce, and I am so sorry. I failed to introduce
Where?
our
Oh.
new deputy city manager, Scott Davidoff.
Yes.
And so he can always fill in for me if everybody else is available on Friday.
How did you get vacation time? They haven't given me any yet.
That's why I try to do Fridays because it seems to be nobody notices.
And also something that we used to have here is a second citizens forum. And I know obviously we didn't have many people or anybody come up tonight to speak for that. But I would like to bring that back if possible. In case, people get off work late. I know I've got a lot of citizens that have asked for that. So I'll leave that up to the council.
Can you explain that a little, Chris?
Well, we have the citizens forum at the beginning. and
Right.
We used to have a second one later on at the end. Where was that, Dan, in the meeting?
It would come right after council action,
After council action. So right
before the city attorney, city manager, and council reports.
So it'd be.
It's similar to the first one,
Okay.
and it just happens
So it'd just
again.
be a couple of.
And there may not
I
be
don't see
anybody
an
come
issue
up
with
at that time,
yeah,
but if they do, it gives them an opportunity to come up and speak.
So
Mr. Mayor,
understandable.
if possible, could you add that to the workshop discussion? So we can sort of talk about that a little
The
bit?
pros and cons, absolutely. We
please.
can do that. Yeah.
Because there's some nuances to that, for lack of a
Okay.
better expression.
That's fine. And that's all I have. And that brings us to the information report section. On Saturday, November 23rd, 2024, we have Community Thanksgiving Drive-Through from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Community Center. Thursday and Friday, November 28th and 29th, we have the city offices closed in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. Thursday, December 5th, 2024, Community Redevelopment Agency meeting, 3 p.m. at the Building Department Conference Room. Friday, December 6th, 2024, tree lighting celebration, 6 p.m. at City Hall. Saturday, December 7th, 2024, Christmas parade, 10 a.m. at downtown St. Cloud. Saturday and Sunday, December 7th and 8th, 2024, the St. Cloud Holiday Festival at downtown St. Cloud. Thursday, December 12th, 2024, City Council meeting, 6:30 p.m. right here in City Hall Council Chambers. And Friday, December 13th, 2024 is the Employee Holiday Luncheon. City offices will be closed from 12 noon to 2 p.m. And for your review, we have warrant list number 1 available. And if nobody has anything else, this meeting is adjourned.